Hello YouTube and welcome. In this video I'd like to do with you the unboxing of this new Commander deck. So this one is the Primaris Performance and it is from the new set Strixhaven, School of Mages. So back of the box we can read Encore, choose your commander and overcome both friends and foe in this definitive multiplayer magic format. Team up with Zafai for the performance of a lifetime. As you cast bigger and bigger spells, Zafai will reward you with bigger and bigger payoffs. So Prismari College, Prismari Mage see no difference between magic and art. Their spells are spectacles and raw creativity. Masterpiece of Snowy, over-the-top magecraft. Any elemental force can be a Prismari, Muse, and Median. So this box contains a deck box, a 100 card deck with 17 new cards, 10 double-sided token cards, plus a life wheel, a strategy insert, and a reference card. So let's see what we can get in this one. And first of all, I would like to thanks to Big Michael, makes this video possible for you. Put this aside. Okay, so first thing we noticed in these new commander decks are the full size or the bigger size of our commander cards. It's not available anymore, so we have some kind of a sticker. Here we have our box. So this is the deck box. Nice art in this one. Put it here. The life counter. The strategy insert for this deck. Here we have our commander, but this is a different card. This is cardboard, a different one, more thin. Okay, here we have the tokens, and here we have the deck. So let's check our deck. Okay, put it aside. Just okay. So here is our regular card for our commander, and instead of a oversized card we have this one. Okay, it's more portable. So let's check our deck, and of course we're going to start with our commander. So this is Zafai, Thunder Conductor. For drops, he has Magecraft. Whenever he casts or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zafai's Thunder Collector deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random, and it is a 1/4. Interesting. Veyran, Voice of Duality. 3 drops, he has Magecraft. Whenever you cast a copy or an instant or sorcery spell, Variant Voice of Duelist gets +1/+1 until the end of the turn. If you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time, and it is a 2/2. Dazzling Things. 5 drops, he has Flying. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of their library in a random order, and it is a 4/5. Inspiring Refrain. 6 drops, draw 2 cards, exile Inspiring Refrain with 3 time counters on it. He has a suspend for 3. Muse Vortex, an X and 2 blues. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value X or less from among them without paying his mana cost. Then put the exiled card, instant and sorcery cards that weren't cast this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Octavia Living Thesis, 10 drops. The spell costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instants and or sorcery cards in your graveyard. He has a yard for 4 and he has Magecraft. Whenever you cast a copy, an instant or sorcery spell, target creature has base power and toughness 8/8 until the end of the turn, and it is a 8/8. Sly Instigator, 4 drops. For 1, tap it until the next turn. Target creature on opponent controls can't be blocked. Goat that creature, and it is a 2/4. Creative Technique, 5 drops. He has Demonstrate. When you cast the spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy. Shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top of it until you reveal an online card, exile that card, and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying his mana cost. Fury Anchor, 5 drops, discard the card and draw a card. When you discard an online card this way, Fury Anchor deals damage equal to that card mana value to target creature or planeswalker. And he has Storm. Infernal Project, 7 drops, he has Trample. Infernal Project enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total mana value of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard, and it is a 0/0. Radiant Performers, 5 drops, he has Flash. When enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, choose target spell or ability that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy that spell or ability for each other permanent or player the spell or ability could target. Each copy targets a different one of those permanents and player, and it is a 2/2. Rionia Fire Dancer, 5 drops. At the beginning of a combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instant and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. They have haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step, and it is a 3/4. Interesting cards for this deck. Rousing Refrain, 5 drops. Add red mana for each card in target opponent's hand until the end of the turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Exile Rousing Refrain with 3 times counters on it, and he has a suspend of 3. Surge to Victory, 6 drops, exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Creatures you control gets +X/+0 until the end of the turn, where X is that mana card's value. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Rater Print, 4 drops, counter target spell. You may cast a spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying his mana cost. Elementalist Palette, 3 drops. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, put 2 charges counters on Elementalist Palette. Tap it for 1 mana of any color, or tap it for a colorless of each charge counter on Elementalist Palette. Spend this mana only to cast that contains X. Interesting card, this one. Aether Gale, 5 drops, return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner hands. Aether Spouts, 5 drops, for each attacking creature its owner puts on the top or bottom of their library. Dig Through Time, 8 drops, he has Delve. Look at the top 7 cards of your library, put the 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Diluvial Primordial, 7 drops, he has Flying. When it enters the battlefield for each opponent, you may cast up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard without paying his mana cost. If a spell cast this way would be put in the graveyard this turn, exile it instead, and it is a 5/5. Metallurgic Summonings, 5 drops. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a XX colorless construct artifact creature token, where X is that spell's mana value. For 5, exile Metallurgic Summonings. Return all instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you control 6 or more artifacts. Mind's Desire, 6 drops, shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Until the end of the turn, you may play that card without paying his mana cost. Naru Meha Master Wizard, 4 drops, he has Flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Other wizards you control gets +1/+1, and it is a 3/3. Great art in this one. Swarm Intelligence, 7 drops. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Talrand Sky Summoner, 4 drops. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token when flying, and it is a 2/2. Apex the Power, 10 drops. Exile the top 7 cards of your library until the end of the turn. You may cast spells from among them. If the spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. Crazy. Blasphemous Act, 9 drops. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Blasphemous Act deals 3 damage to each creature. Crazy. Brass Bounty, 7 drops. For each land you control, create a treasure token. Chambreaker Devils, 6 drops. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4/+0 until the end of the turn, and it is a 4/4. Dualcaster's Mage, 3 drops. He has Flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy, and it is a 2/2. Erratic Cyclops, 4 drops. He has Trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets +X/+0 until the end of the turn, where X is that spell mana value, and it is a 0/8. Etali Primal Storm, 6 drops. Whenever attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost, and it is a 6/6. And we have Jaya's Ballard, 5 drops. He has 5 loyalty points. For +1, add 3 red mana. Spend this mana only to cast instants or sorcery spells. For +1, also discard up to 3 cards. Then draw that many cards. And for -8, you get an emblem with you may cast instants and sorcery spells from your graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put in your graveyard, exile it instead. Nice card. So continuing with our deck, here we have Sunbird's Invocation, 6 drops. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library. where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from among cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Volcanic Vision, 7 drops, return target instant and sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to that card's mana value for each creature your opponent controls. Exile Volcanic Vision. Wildfire Devils, 4 drops. When enters the battlefield at the beginning of your unkeep, choose a player at random. That player exiles an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast the copy without paying his mana cost, and it is a 4/2. Call the Skybreaker, 7 drops. Create a 5/5 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. He has Retrance. Epic Experience, an X and 2 drops. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may cast instant and sorcery spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Then put all cards exiled this way that weren't cast into your graveyard. Pyromancer's Google, 5 drops, tap it at a red mana. When that mana is spent to cast a red instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell and you may choose new targets for the copy. Nice cards. Exotic Orchard, tap it at a mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Scavenger Grounds, tap it for a color's mana. For 2, tap it, sacrifice a desert. Exile all cards from all graveyards. Shivan's Reef, tap it for a color's mana, or tap it for add a blue or red mana. Shivan's Reef deals 1 damage to you. Temple of Epiphany, Temple of Epiphany enters the battlefield, tap it. When it enters the battlefield, scry 1 and tap it for a blue or red mana. Now the commons and uncommon cards, I think. So we have Resculpt, Storm King Artist, Elemental Masterpiece, Expressive Intervention, Roots of Mercurial Artist, Letter of Acceptance, Prismari Campus, Study Hall, Brainstorm, Living Lore, Ponder, Serum Visions, Traumatic Visions, Treasure Cruise, Fateless Looting, Fairy Fall, Humble Defector, Mana Geyser, Sitting Song, Crackling Drake, Arcane Signet, Hedron Archive, Inset Signet, Mind Stone, Soul Ring, Talisman of Creativity, Bricked Cataract, Command Tower, Desert of the Fervent, Desert of the Mindful, Forgotten Cave, Izet Boiler Works, Lonely Sandbar, Mage Ring Network, Memorial to Genius, Myriad Landscape, Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, and here we have some basic lands, some islands, and of course some reds, some mountains. So this is the reference card. So we just need to see the tokens, the double-side tokens for this deck. Okay. So in this side we have a copy token, a construct, elemental, and in the other side we have Drake, treasure, and finally some more elemental tokens. So this is what I have to share with you, the unboxing of this new commander deck for the new set Strixhaven. So this is the Prismari performance. So this is what I have to share with you. I hope you like it, you enjoy it. Until the next time, see you.